Hey folks, this is Ray from DCRainmaker.com. Today I've got GoPro's newest bike mounts. Now this is the first time they've actually released bike mounts for their action cameras. In the past what they had was this small, it's called a handlebar mount. They had a small one and a big one, and it basically went ahead and it kind of popped on there. Now it was handlebar, and that was actually like a roll bar for anything. It could have been bikes or motorsports or just a pole on the side of the street. Whereas these are actually designed for bicycles. And while this was fine and kind of did the trick, it was sort of awkward. You know, if you used it like this, you had to put an adapter to turn it, and it just was a lot of extra height and a lot of bounce, and it was sort of generally crap. So instead we've got this new one here and a rear one on the saddle there. So the first one here is a handlebar mount, and it's designed to be able to rotate. So you can actually rotate it around, you can adjust the angle like this. It's pretty darn cool. It's not going to be for everyone, but I'll talk about the scenarios it works best in and where it may not work best. Put that back there. And then next on the back here we have the saddle mount, and so very similar to what Kay just had in the past, another mount company in terms of just having a GoPro hitting up on the back there. But let's start off with the front mount. Okay, so here's the front mount. What we have here is basically two adjustable system. Technically three if you count the actual mount portion itself. So the way this works is you got a bolt that comes up the bottom there and it cranks it onto there. And then the actual mount comes with four different brackets, basically small plastic rubber spacers that allow you to put it on different sized handlebars. All of them have to be round. So if you do have a kind of flattish aero bar type situation, it's not going to work for you. It really has to be round, and it's kind of a little more finicky than some of the ones that can adjust up and down forever. So just keep that in mind. So you got this first bolt that locks it on place here. It's not going anywhere at all. Then you have two different bolts. The first one controls this rotation kind of around this axis right there to move the camera all the way around. And that's right here. And you can use just a hex wrench in there to go ahead and tighten that up. And you can of course tighten it so it doesn't move at all, which is certainly one possibility. And the second then is to go the kind of up and down motion like this, and that's his bolt right there. So you can see they're perfectly lined up this way, and as I rotate it around, and they're obviously out of alignment, and I can keep on rotating it all the way around. Now what's cool about this is that, you know, if you're looking to do like photos and stuff like that on a long ride, this is kind of neat in that you can just simply rotate this, point it up towards you, and get a neat picture. It also allows for some really interesting shots if you want to have a bit more like cinematography look to your movie or your video, and get shots, for example, down onto the wheels, just the pavement's going by, so you would just see pure pavement alone. And then again, you know, you can see braking shots here. This is going to require a lot more, not a lot, but certainly more attention to detail in a movie if you're going to use all the different angles. If you're going to have it just like this, you can certainly lock it down and it's not going to go anywhere. And you may want to bring a hex wrench with you so you can go ahead and kind of lock this and move this on the fly. So at this point you may be wondering why you would get this mount over something else, and it's a really good question. There are a lot of great GoPro mounts out there. One of my favorites is this K-Edge one. It just simply drops the GoPro down below the bar there, so it's kind of a little more, it's still forward of these, the handlebars, the brakes, so you don't go ahead and get those in the picture, but it's definitely out of the way. And the second one here is a bar fly, but K-Edge makes a very similar one. This allows you to have both your Garmin up top, so you'd probably ideally put it right here. That way it goes ahead and it's going to have the GoPro right there, or the Garmin right in the middle there, and then the GoPros drop down in front. These sort of combo mounts are definitely my favorite. It's what I prefer to use, whereas this is going to be, you know, for a bit more creativity, and it's also going to pop this up a little higher. You could run this upside down if you wanted to, but it's a little bit messier because of the cables and stuff down here, and it's going to push this down further because of the stack height here for that rotation bit there. Oh, and in case you're wondering about this case right there, that is the frame case. It's one of my favorite cases there is. I always kind of use this because I like to get basically the camera out of kind of a plastic shell in front of it, or that glass in front of a normal GoPro case. And it also allows me then to easily pop things in and out and get the audio nice and crisp too. So last but not least, we have the saddle mount here. So this GoPro saddle mount basically goes ahead and it mounts on the rails. These are kind of standard universal rails below any sort of saddle. It's got a single screw that goes up the middle there, one bolt that comes across the side here. It's really simple to use. You'll just go and attach your case onto the standard GoPro mount there. Nice and solid, it's not going anywhere. This particular shot is great if you're cycling in a group, so kind of a peloton type scenario where you're looking back, people are coming up attacking you. It's awesome for that. If you're riding by yourself, Generally the shots, you want to use it sparingly in your videos, it'll get kind of boring otherwise. And then the last scenario it might be useful for is if you're riding in traffic and you want to record cars coming up behind you. Now this mount is really similar to the K-Edge mount. I've been using the K-Edge mount for years. You can see it's virtually identical design. The only difference between the GoPro and the K-Edge, the GoPro has 2 screws, the K-Edge has 1 screw, the GoPro has 2 screws coming out the bottom. The exact same concept. They're really no different, honestly. Like, just find whatever one's cheapest, but get one of these, get one that's metal. That's the key thing here, is that you want something that's really sturdy, that you can crank down, you don't have to worry about, and it's gonna give you nice solid shots. Okay, so last but not least, note that you can use it with any GoPro compatible unit. So whether that's the GoPro Hero 4, it's the GoPro Hero 4 Session, it's the GoPro Old, it's the GoPro, whatever you want, as long as it has a GoPro mount, even a Garmin Verb XC, anything, as long as it's got a GoPro mount, you're good to go. The other thing to note is you can also use it with the thumb screw instead. So this allows you to kind of rotate things up and down really easily, as opposed to having a hex wrench. So if you don't want to carry a wrench with you, you can just use the thumb screws to kind of lock it in place nice and tight, and then adjust it on the fly. So with that, thanks for watching. Go and hit that like button down below, as well as the subscribe button just next to it. That lets you get those new sports technology videos. As soon as the products are announced, I'll go ahead and release those the moment the embargo lifts. Thanks for watching.